vibration through the face, the lips, into the cheeks. Spread it through your neck, shoulders, chest. Illumine Hybrid Theatre is a new international initiative that focuses on developing collaborative theatre work across text, across physical performance, across all different ranges of vocalisation. The training that I've been developing is about how to integrate different disciplines together, because it's quite a different thing just dancing, just singing, or just delivering text. You can be really focused, but when you're asked to combine these, it becomes much more difficult, and nor is there an efficient pedagogy to assist people to work out how to actually layer these different disciplines on top of each other. One of the most important things about interdisciplinary performance is the way that you layer. So it is a progressive methodology. So much of our theatre writing and writing in general comes from a male perspective. And the more I read, there were certain plays that really stimulated me to want to be a female voice in this time. I wrote the piece that we're working on at the start of 2016. I was really inspired by Hedda Gabler, which is a play that was written in 1890 in Norway, and that presents a very particular social structure. The expectations of society and the difficulty of how one fits in this society, in this world. I think it's still very relevant for this day and age.
It was a really great surprise for me to be invited to do this project, as I'm from Finland, from north, and the story is Hedda Gabler's story. So it's a Nordic story about a Nordic woman with those problems in that time. She has all these impulses in her that she cannot resist, and she doesn't know where they are coming from. Kara is combining two different plays, Ibsen's Hedda Gabler, but also Hymn to Demeter, about a mother who loses her daughter for Hades, the king of death.
Homer's Hymn to Demeter is the story about how Hades took Persephone into the underworld. And when I was reading this original text and adapting it, I was really surprised to see that Zeus, her father, knew that she was going to be taken to the underworld by Hades. So there was a sense of permission that was being given by her father for the ownership of this woman, his daughter, to be taken into the underworld. This was something that sparked my attention to how challenging this structure is that has been set up from like mythological time, that the female is property somehow. I guess the whole work is in response to that feeling.
The depth of that Greek mythology meeting this Ibsen's naturalistic way of writing. For acting, it's very inspiring because your imagination can go to that kind of depth of the mythology. A young woman being ripped down to Hades. Simultaneously, Hedda Gabler takes her own life, so she's also ripped down to Hades.
This whole work challenges that there is a female role and this idea of property. So in the Hedda Gabler story, females only exist as carers. They're only acceptable to society if they're carers in some way. That's the only way these women in Hedda Gabler find any sense of ambition. It seems to be through the men. This somehow connects for me into this Homer's Hymn to Demeter, that there is this limitation that exists as part of just being a female. And this is something that I really wanted to question and to bring a completely new reality to in this work. The training first builds a strong, agile, self-aware anatomical structure. This opens the performer's physical library and gives them a sense of expansion. An anatomical awareness is really important, but in equal importance is a sensitivity to the way that they are experiencing their bodies. And that's very different to physical training that is more muscular. I want you to reach out and feel as though you're reaching and giving, and at the same time receiving. And really begin to feel each other. Just a gentle cycle of this. Then we look into the awareness of the skin, the heartbeat, the internal pulses within the body. This awareness is a completely different awareness.
It's kind of to keep body and mind together and connecting those things. If you have control over how to make yourself feel comfortable in your body as a performer, then it opens like so many gates.
The training is all about recognizing the key elements of live performance, the audience body and the performer's body. We want the audience to be really receptive to what we're doing on stage. So the training is all about cultivating this self-awareness, the awareness of the energy that's being built inside the body, and then giving that, projecting that into the audience body. That is our aim with the training, is to go quite deep internally to then hopefully give the audience that experience. Allow your whole body to just go with the rock, particularly the jaw. With relaxed ankles and also with flexed ankles, and then allow them to drop. The entire body has the capacity to be very resonant, and what we're able to do from this is find a sound that is more authentically connected, and I really think that this practice is incredible, and it's something that I've never come into contact with in Australia. It's like it connects somehow to a primal voice. The sound is extremely affective and reaches into something that is very deep and very emotional. So we do this to build awareness to the resonance within the entire body. Then that can be utilised when the performers are vocalising on stage. And we also used this to improvise and to find the type of sound that we wanted to use in this work. Become aware of each other, aware of the space. Becoming aware of the musicality of your movement.
What we try to practice is sort of a sensitivity towards each other's physicality, also movement, sensitivity towards the breath of each other, so how to stay sensitive and fresh in every moment.
Feel each other, project your energy inside the other person's body. Physical improv can create the basis for the physical action in the piece. So currently I'm collaborating with the cast to create the physical text for this piece. So the physical improv is helping the actors to build their characters.
Kara's way of writing the script for this piece is very poetic and somehow very abstract. It gives a lot of freedom to us to really explore and go deeper into this work in our very personal own ways. And I find her way, for example, to write proposition for a scene for physical text really interesting, because it has a lot of content, yet complete freedom to find how we tell this. How do I, as an actress, improvise and find my own line inside that proposition?
For this experience, I feel that Kara gives us a lot of source of inspiration. All these talks and visual things that we had, the pictures and everything, it feeds us to have it somewhere in mind and to work with it.
And she definitely embraces our differences, but also she supports and encourages those kind of personal strengths and ways of being on stage and using different elements of performance.
I went in India for 4 years to study this dance called Kathakali. Kathakali is a traditional Indian dance. There is a language, but it's not with spoken words, it's with hand gestures and facial expressions and body movements. So it's very technical, but we tell the stories of the characters through very codified language. I see a world in front of me.
So I asked Julien to create a physical text. It's something that incorporated his katakali training, which has got very, very strong archetypal facial gesture. I wanted his face to be extremely active and to be connected with his physical gesture. I only thought of the idea of the dress that would expand into the space and then create a piece of scenography really only a few months ago. So the costume designer had this great idea that there would be another dress underneath with writing all over it, like the scars somehow of the words that had been used about this woman. And I really love that aspect of it too. So it's very exciting to see how my imagination has been blown out of the water by all of these other collaborators.
I
knew that I wanted to create a vocal quality that was somehow a mixture or a progression from crying to sobbing to wailing to then a calling. Somehow bring those elements into the vocal aspect of the show. We began to work on improvisation around that. And then Saale brought a particular lullaby and she began to sing it to me, and I could immediately have a feeling of the atmosphere.
It just popped into my head because something that we were discovering, the wailing and mourning through vocalization. Anu said she has had some experience with Karelian lamenting, and so I remembered it's Karelian song. It's about sending a child to the other world, a lullaby for a dying, dead child. And the lyrics actually fit amazingly well into this performance.
Where are the people?
We've actually had only 15 work days on this. I'm very happy with the quality of work that we've achieved in that time. It's a very short amount of time to create a show that's 35 to 40 minutes long.
I think of her, speak to her, not out loud. She can't hear me, doesn't hear me.
The main thing is that we found a shared language and a new process for this type of physical work. That's very exciting to me, that we've actually found a language for the quality of work that I wanted to explore.
On finit toujours par se résigner à l'inévitable. On finit toujours par se
yleensä
résigner à
tottuvat.
l'inévitable.
I think we're becoming more and more stationary and potentially locked inside our bodies as opposed to really in touch with our bodies. And so I really want this visceral feeling from the performers, but that's the quality that we're looking for. Something that somehow enters inside your body as an audience member. That's what we're aiming for.
She began to feel the rest of her life erupt from the shadows in her eyes.